Peace, boxing world. What's good? Thanks for clicking on another Bite Down Boxing video, an extension of the Bite Down Boxing podcast. I'm the host, Wood, and try to keep this kind of short and sweet. Last night was the biggest fight of the early 2019. Manny Pacquiao, 8-time or 8-division champion Manny Pacquiao versus 4-division champion, former world champion Adrien Broner. And I had my issues with this fight, mainly going into it because of I just disapproved of the pay-per-view status for this fight to begin with. That was mainly my issue. Then there was some other things in the Broner camp that I didn't agree with, and I was like, man, it made it easy to just sit this one out. But then, I got snowed in last night. I was up on all of my series, my TV series and stuff, and I got a little curious. Obviously, I podcast, I write about boxing when I can, so I want to know what was going on. So, and I keep it funky on the fact that, man, I would have went to the theater. I was thinking about going to the theater, even when I said I wasn't gonna do it. I still considered it, but again, some aspects of this matchup made it easy to not put my money into it. Whether that was going to the theater or even breaking down and buying it at home because it wasn't really safe out on the roads. And for anybody that is a couple younger cats online that has some comments on the channel about me living at home with my mom and I couldn't afford to fight. Honestly, whether I was gonna pay, which I would have never paid the $75, but to pay the $20 or whatever it was to go to the theater, honestly, it's a fight coming up in Detroit on either February the 8th is one weekend at the Motor City Casino, or February 23rd is another one for the second to none promotions card. I can use this money to put into my gas tank to go do what I really prefer to do. So it's just personal, or microeconomics. That's all it is. But I want to say this up front, man. What am I at? 3 minutes and didn't even get to my points. You can shut it down right after this. And I wrote this article about it on roundbyroundboxing.com maybe over a year and a half ago. I really think Adrien Broner should consider getting a meeting with one of these channels, maybe the people that just did the Surviving the R. Kelly thing, or VH1, really getting a meeting to pitch them a reality show. He has a significant following. They're loyal AF, autofocus. They're loyal as all get out. He can tell them in any of his nonsensical stuff, any of the messaging, the false messaging that's being sold, they buy it. Hook, line, and sinker, they question none of it. I really think he should pitch. And I said a reality show for a different reason in the article. But for real, this boxing thing as we know it, the 7-figure paydays and all of that, those things could be going away in the near future. I think when you get into disrespecting or having it, for those that don't think it's disrespectful, I think when you get to having the exchanges with the on-air talent that you're starting to have, at some point in time, the people that sign the checks and push the buttons and pay for the film crews to be there, when you start bumping heads with those people, the likelihood is that they move in another direction. That's why HBO, a big part of the reason, in my opinion, behind the scenes, that's a significant part of why HBO shuttered everything. That's just my opinion. Maybe, you know, a third of the reason, 20% of the reason or something, but it's dealing with the talent, you know, dealing with the athletes. But yeah, I think you should really strongly consider that. Secondly, as I'm following some of the different content that I follow and try to support and whatnot, I really just get the sense that boxing, different faction or different segments of this thing, is just a lot like politics, in the sense that we're okay with the lies and being lied to if we like the person that's lying to us. I see a lot of that in this. And it was remarkable to me that the good people with some great opinions, some great input, who just blindly said what was going to happen in this matchup that had no chance of happening, or the likelihood of it. I mean, I could see better things to stick my neck out on. I could see the Patriots winning today, even though they shouldn't in a lot of regards down in Kansas City, but I could vouch for the Pats. I'm really not sure that I could vouch for AB in this matchup. I know I couldn't. But, you know, I respect everybody's opinion. But it's just crazy when we venture over to that type of coverage, analysis, breakdown, expertise, whatever, and in the background is some other stuff. But that's just me. I'm gonna fall back on a lot of this moving forward. So that's it, man. AB should really consider pitching himself, getting himself a meeting to pitch for a reality show. I think it would be probably good television for those that would like to tune in to see that. And that gets into, you can cut the video off now if you want to. But when I sat here and checked this out on the stream, I felt zero guilt in checking out, in the piracy of this one. I felt zero guilt. But when I look at what's going on through portions of the fight, late into the fight, I really feel like there's a Mike Tyson-like quality that's going on here. A Mike Tyson type outlook at moving forward in boxing. When I look at the body language and some of the we're calling it shenanigans and antics, I think that's all symptoms of something else, but nobody wants to really deal with it. But I really feel like when Tyson was laying on the rope after Danny Williams put him down, like, I don't have no interest in this no more. I don't want to do this no more. And I said this in the piece that I put up a year and a half ago. It's a lot of people dependent on Adrien Broner and the business of AB and about billions. I mean, now we got fighters on the roster. It's a lot of people and important people in his life that are dependent on this. But the whole thing is, put some gloves on him, get him a training camp, get him a date, get him a fight, get an opponent, get him a better and better opponent. Keep pushing him. But then nobody is looking at the results in the ring. It's still, to this day, it was innumerable. If he let his hands go, when he let his hands go. How could you keep saying the same thing? I don't get it. That's how you score in boxing. We're not sitting here talking about, man, I wish James Harden would dribble the way that he used to. Man, I wish James Harden would travel and get that step back in. I wish he would do that. I wish Steph Curry would shoot three-pointers like he used to. I wish Steph Curry would let him fly. I wish Ezekiel Elliott would stiff arm people. I wish he would go and get the extra 2 or 3 yards. I wish he would quit running out of bounds. We don't say that for other athletes. We move on. Potential. We way too far in the game to be talking about potential. Like my man said, like Denzel said in American Gangster, sometimes in this world, you are what you are. And that's no knock. I'm not even, like I said, I strongly believe that it might be time for the brother to move on to do something else. I don't know who could have that conversation with him. I know plenty of people in the camp. I know plenty of people around him. The All Access let us see another side and learn deeper layers of it. Who is gonna say, man, we can't keep sending you in here against some of these killers and you not get hurt? I mean, we lucky it was a 40-year-old man last night who couldn't get to that next punch, you know, that final punch. Or didn't seem to want to, even though he said, you know, the killer instinct was back and whatnot. But like I said, for me, I'm okay watching a movie when the bad guy get away at the end of the movie. I was okay with Usual Suspects when Kaiser Soze got away. I was okay with The Town when Ben Affleck got away. I was okay. I just watched The Lion's Den for the first time last weekend, and O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's son, got away at the end of the movie. I'm okay with that. It's slick to do it that way and be different versus we seeing it all come crash down. I don't even want to watch that. That's not even interesting to me. That's why I didn't really focus on this fight. This is why I'm not coming on now talking about the performance, solely talking about the performance of the fight and saying what he didn't do. I don't think the man really wants to do this on this level. But he's only 29, so it's a lot left to do. But obviously, when you're sitting out here running behind rappers, checking out, you know, hitting up the studio with rappers, working on albums, going on Wild 'N Out, you have other interests. Why not take your popularity and maximize that and do something with it? And, you know, maybe you find out you good we used to say, you know, my records might not sell in the States, but I'm good overseas. I'm popular overseas. Maybe you popular in something else. Who's going to ask the man that question? Who's going to have that conversation with him? Coach Stafford, it's other kids in the gym. I didn't see if Desmond Jarman won last night. Destiny Butler out of Chicago, they were on that card or were scheduled to fight. I didn't see what the results of that was. But you know, it's more pupils out there for you to focus on. Maybe you need to tell your best guy, hey man, it was a good run. We had a great run, but you know, if you ain't in it, you know, if your heart's not in it, there's no shame in that, bruh. There's no shame in that. I'm starting to see a Mike Tyson type outlook and body language. Like, I'm not really here for this no more. Anymore. And if we look at that, look at the wide margins against, and then remember when Chico Corrales, when he just got to a point where he didn't have a weight class? I mean, this is my thing with keep putting him in. AB is a top this, keep putting him in, keep putting him in. We talking about winning 2 to 4 rounds between the elite guys. One judge had 118 for Sean Porter, who we wouldn't even think is a real elite guy, you know, is a Hall of Fame guy, or, you know, I like Porter, had nothing against Porter, but he's not the first name out of the majority of the fans and experts' mouth about who's what. But one of the judges had him up 118 in that one. But these wide margins against the elite talent, man, maybe that's that. How do we ignore this stuff? It's right in front of us. But we're gonna look to stick him in with the next something. Like if he would have beat, like now, Well, let me not say that. But we can't ignore these wide margins in the biggest of fights. 2 to 4 rounds. 2 to 4 rounds against Mikey Garcia, a guy who's coming up 2 or 3, two weight divisions in 3 fights, I think. 9 to 3. I guess you could argue 8 to 4. Here last night, some people saying 2 rounds versus a 40-year-old PACQUIAO. You know, I guess the Porter loss wasn't that bad. You know, the gap in that, he got the late knockdown, so it looked better. He did make the Maidana fight when he was still young and spry. He came back and made that. You know, worked through the early adversity in that one. But you know, Maidana's not even a top level guy, top heart guy, top physical guy. But another thing I don't understand, again, looking at the facts here. You've been here from 140 to 147 for all this time. There was never any push to go and face a Postal, to go and face an Ndongo, to go and face a Prograis, to go and face a Ramirez, to go and face a Crawford. There was never nothing to face a Danny Garcia. There was never no push to face Errol Spence, Brook. When was the push to fight any of these world level guys? But again, like I said, we're okay with the lies being told to us, and the lies, we're good with it if we like the source of the lies. Even after he drew with Jesse Vargas, he went right out to social media and said, "Give me Tim Bradley." Tim Bradley been sitting here, he got a headset on his head just like I do at this moment. Like he just did Friday night. This man is ringside calling fights and his name gets pulled out. That's who I want. Who wanted to see that? But again, we okay with what we're okay with. I done went too long on this already. My last point, man, and it kind of, I'm just reiterating what I just said. It doesn't seem like Adrien Broner wants to compete. You don't go in a fight and get punched on and get landed on and connected with, and there's no fire to return the punishment. Maybe you don't want to do this no more. I'm not going to sit here and say the Maidana fight changed him and he's irreparable and he doesn't want to engage. He's scared. I'm not saying any of that. But he's definitely good enough and athletic and tough enough and all of the things that you would say to go in here and go rounds. But in the 10th, 11th, and 12th round last night, there was no let me get back. He's hit me, let me hit him. I didn't see none of that. The man does not look like he wants to compete. This should be saying something. These are red flags. These are signals. And that's no knock. It's a tough ass game. You saw that. You saw the Mind Stone removed gap that was in Badou Jack's forehead last night. This stuff is a tough ass game. And if you don't want to be in it anymore, we going through all this stuff right now with mental health awareness and mental health awareness in the black community and blah, blah, blah. And it's all this empathy being thrown around and everything. And then right under our noses is a situation that I don't feel that somebody is really looking into to see what's what. And like I said, at the end of the day, and that's the thing. Last point, when the cameras and the microphones are no longer put into this man's face, when because the all accesses are probably going away in all likelihood. But when all of that stuff goes away and you're not on the big stage anymore, then what's he fill his time with? What's he do? What's the person do? Is the hood gonna be there to support you in any way and for you to be able to make a living? It's a fiance involved, it's kids involved. You know, it's obligations and liabilities out there to take care of. What happens? So, like I said, if you bowed out, I mean, you could make the reality show over another few fights at whatever level and incorporate boxing into it, you know, for a minute. But if we're gonna let some of these former rappers and hot single for a summer rappers get away with living these great lives on reality TV, down in whatever that stuff. I don't even know the titles of that stuff, man. But if we gonna let them get multiple seasons under their belt with that, you should be able to get off 2 or 3 seasons and doing what you do. I would say that he's better TV than any of those cats that I ever watched on, you know, when I was scrolling across the channel and saw any of that. So that's it, man. I done wasted some time. Like I said, it's amazing that the real discussions won't happen. And if you say anything about what really might be going on or just asking a question, this is why I don't ask when I see AB at stuff no more. This is why I don't talk to him no more. I don't try to put a microphone in his face. I don't want to comment. I don't want nothing. Cool, bruh. You know, I kind of wanted to get some opinion on some of his up and coming fighters, because you kind of get a coherent conversation when he's talking about those guys, because he does want to see them succeed. I do see that. But other than that, I'm not going to be the person to stick a microphone and a camera on the brother and try to get him to say something so I can come on here and get some clicks. We passed that. Like I said, I have no interest in seeing the rest of that show. I've seen that before. There's plenty of athletes out there who we've seen it in ugly. And that's not what I'm trying to contribute to. So, hey man, I'm going to get on out of here. You disagree with anything I said, that's fine. If you agree with anything that I said, that's even greater or better. Hope you enjoyed the fight. Hope your money was well spent. And I'm out of here, man. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. 1.